Welcome to Behind the Bars, a YouTube series that is solely focused on trials and will be published on the Trials Mania YouTube channel. Now in these series episodes we're going to be having crashes, news, topics, event coverage, anything you can think of trials. We're going to have different segments in each episode. We're also going to have some repeating segments such as the Behind the Bars challenge, which I'll get into later on, but it looks something like this. We'll also have some trials crashes weekly. Make sure to send them in. Recently I put up on social media asking for some and I got loads sent in. Now if yours isn't in this episode, don't worry, there will be in the future, but I'll always need more. So if you've got some trials crashes or you've got some of your friends that they won't put up anywhere, send them over to me and I'll get them in a future episode, because we all love to see a crash. But anyway, let's get into this first episode and I hope you enjoy. In this episode of Behind the Bars, we see some trials crashes. Ryan Lawson has a go at the Behind the Bars challenge. I rank the 2026 bikes based on looks in a tier list. Argue with me all you like, disagree with me all you like in the comments, that bike belongs in A. We see some event coverage of the 2025 Full Throttle event. And we talk about some trials news. So in my opinion, we can just stop complaining. So before we get into the first segment, I just want to mention a little bit more about the episode. I will be getting some more production equipment sent over, such as microphones, try and make the audio sound a little better, things like that, make the desk look a bit more trials enthusiastic. I've got a few bits and bobs to try and get looking. I've got my Manx 2-day mug and stuff, some programs, media pass, a few souvenirs. But the production level will be increasing, but I just want to try and get the first episode out, see what people think, just to get the ball rolling. Now, the first segment we're going to get into is the crashes compilation. So sit back, enjoy just watching a load of people fall off the trials bike. So yeah, let's get right into this.
Good crash.
Well, some of those short did look like they hurt, some not so much, but they were still just as funny. And some riders got away lucky with some of those, I think, as well. I've got one of Jamie Galloway from the last round at Scarborough of the British Championship. I'll put that in the episode too, but Christ, what a crash. But anyway, next segment we're going to get into is the trials news. So the trials news segment basically is just going to be any trials recent news or semi-recent news, or any topics, controversial or not, that you guys want me to talk about. So drop a comment down below on any topics you might want to get brought up in the next week, for next week's episode. Not next week, these episodes will be coming out around bi-weekly, or I try my best. I do get quite busy, but yeah, anything you want me to talk about, drop it in the comments, and anything new that happens before the next episode I'll make sure to include there as well. Now the first topic of the news segment is going to be about Gas. Now this news is a few weeks old now, just over a month maybe, but Gas have announced that they're withdrawing from certain Trials Championships as a factory team. This is exactly what they had to say. Starting in 2026, the Gas brand will no longer participate with a factory team in the World and Spanish Trials Championships. This strategic shift will allow us to focus more closely on enhancing our industrial and commercial operations. To me, that sounds like the pot's run dry. They've got no money left in the wallet, and Trials is the one that's going to suffer from that. I believe Gas has had a factory team in the FIM World Trials Championships since around 1986, I believe. I might be wrong, but I think it's around then, and they've not missed a year since. They have had financial difficulties before and problems overall before, and that's not stopped them. So it's got to be seriously bad, or KTM as a whole must not care about Trials if they're withdrawing as a factory team. And don't get me wrong, the bike is still brilliant, but they're also not bringing a bike out for 2026. They're sticking with the 2025 model and skipping a year. Now, whether we do get a 2027 bike or Gas just folds, I don't know, we'll have to see. But that moves me on to the next question. What will happen to Jaime Busto? He is a top 3 Trials rider and deserves a professional contract to be riding at the top level. So, what are his options? The least likely is he stays at Gas and he has sponsors to help fund his Trials Championship, but I don't think that's going to happen, especially if he's got offers on the table. And if you're another Trials brand, you're silly to not be getting an offer on the table for him, which leads us to the question, where will he go? His options are, as a new option, is Sherco. They brought a brand new bike out in 2023, complete redesign, and they've had a few years to develop it now, and it's a tidy bike. It's very good. I do have one, I'm not being biased, it's a brilliant bike. You can see that by scores and stuff like that, and I feel like they need another big rider up there with Jack Peace in the GP level, and Jaime Busto could be that rider. But, on the other hand, he could go back to somewhere he knows. So he used to ride for Vertigo. They're having a rider problem right now. All I can think of on the top of my head is there's Alfie Lampkin that rides the Trial GP series. That's it in Trial 2. They have not really got any other big rider. So Jaime Busto could fill that void and bring the attention back to them, because in my opinion Vertigo has gone downhill recently. I've never been a massive fan, but to me, now that everyone else is getting fuel injection bikes and developing their bikes further, the hype for the Vertigo has decreased. Now, some other brands he's rode through in the past are Montesa and Beta, but I don't think he's going to go there. These are the reasons why. Montesa have 2 of the top 3 riders already riding for them. So, right now, they don't need Jaime Busto. If they want a 3rd rider, that's just being greedy if you ask me. Next up is Beta. He rode with Beta when he was younger and an upcoming rider in the Trials GP series. When he was riding Trial 2, stuff like that, he was on Beta. But they have just bought a new bike out that's been completely redeveloped. Will he want to move to that bike so early on in its redevelopment? Or will he want to see how it is in a few years' time? We don't know. So, to me, personally, the big contenders right now for Jaime Busto is Vertigo or Sherco. There's Scorpa, but Sherco is just a better version of Scorpa. It's the same brand. So, and if it goes electric, then I'm not going to like him, because I'm not a fan of electric bikes. And it seems to anyone that goes from the GP series onto an electric bike drops down to Trial 2, which I think is stupid. But either way, they didn't win it. Harry Hemingway still won it. 2 Trial GP riders were riding in that on electric bikes and they didn't win. So what does that show you about the electric bikes? 1, unreliable, and 2, they can't really compete against them. So that's all I'm going to say. So yeah, that is the big question. Where will Jaime Busto go? Let me know down in the comments where you think he'll end up. I'm sure time will tell going into the new year. But we'll just have to wait and see. Personally, I hope he doesn't go to Vertigo, just because I think they're going downhill. But him going back might knock them back up a bit, but we'll have to see. Anyway, on to the next part of the news. And that is going to be about ACU licence passes. Now, there's been a big debate on Facebook about this. Lots of comments, lots of arguing, lots of back and forth. A lot of back in my day, can't stand that. It's no longer your day. Grow up. It's the modern day times. Inflation happens, things change, rules change. I'm sure some of these people that say back in my day watch football. The same, like football rules are not the same as they were in 1912. But you still watch it and it's still a good sport to watch, so deal with it. Things change, things have got to alter and move on and grow with the times, so just get on with it. Anyway, a little rant over, there'll be more I'm sure. Licence passes now. So a club registration is £35, nationals £50 and a competition licence is £98. Why not just make it £100? I don't know. ACU clearly just don't want the extra £2 per rider. But here are my thoughts on this. As a individual solo rider, this doesn't affect you too much. And if you're complaining about it, then you probably shouldn't be riding Trials anymore because you probably can't afford it. Now, Trials is the cheapest motorsport you can do, and personally I think we should utilise that to try and grow the sport. The sport has an image issue. Every sport competes professionally. It has its professional side, but it also has its entertainment side. That's what Trials needs. It needs something entertaining. And it needs to stop people commenting saying, you didn't do that back in my day, I could do that on my so-and-so bike without stopping. Back in my day, you've got to remember that the riders that are putting these videos up and you're complaining in the comments about, they're practicing and riding to the rules they're given. It's like a footballer, they get paid stupid money, but they're just doing their job. They've not asked for this amount of money. It's just how the sport's developed. So these are the rules that are allowed at these events. So this is how the riders are training and how the riders are riding. They're not choosing to do this. They're just competing competitively. So they've got to train like this to be able to get to the top level. Nothing to do with them. It's the rules that are in place. So stop going at the riders saying, back in my day we did this, back in my day we did that. Just think about it. It's not them that have made the rules and that are choosing to ride like this. They're just riding how they've got to under the rules they're given. Anyway, moving on. The licences as a whole. Cheaper for the solo rider overall, more expensive for a dad. Because if your dad's got 2 kids, then he's going to have to pay more. But it's just something you've got to kind of deal with. Like, you've got to look at it from a club perspective. These clubs are what's making Trials possible. And with these club licence increases, it's allowing them to pay less insurance per rider, which means they gain a profit or a little profit and are able to run better events for you and make it more worthwhile. A lot of people just turn up and think an event has just happened. Like, it's just magically happened, a trial is there on the weekend. It's not. There's paperwork that's got to be done, permits that's got to be done, you've got to get people signed on, you've got to set the sections, you've got to get the land, which is another issue in itself, you've got to pay for the land, make sure people use the land correctly. So this is benefiting the clubs, and the clubs are the ones that's making sure Trials isn't dying. Without the clubs running these events, you won't have anything to ride for you to complain about these licence prices. And you've also got to look at it from a club perspective. If these licence prices didn't go up, then more than likely the club would have had to pay more insurance per rider at the events for next year, so your entry fees probably would have gone up, which means instead of paying around £20 for a club trial, you probably would have been paying 25, 30 to 35, which is almost the price of your club registration. And over the span of a year, you're paying a lot more than you would be just for a single licence. So in my opinion, we can just stop complaining. Yeah, the youth side of things probably needs sorting, because the youth doesn't really need half of the stuff that's under that licence registration. So there could be a youth discount. They might do that, I don't know. But overall, I think people just need to stop complaining, and if you love trials that much, you'll just get on with it, and you'll actually see the benefits from it. Look from it as a club perspective. Yeah, moving on, that's my 50p to do that bit. Now we're going to talk about some event updates. So to start with, one of the next big events to look forward to is the X Trial in Leeds in January 2026. The X Trial, I'm not sure how long it's been away from the UK now, but it's been a while. We've had the DL12 to replace it for a bit, but it's back. It's in Leeds, a complete new arena. So here's just a few things about it. So it's back in the UK, it's in Leeds, 26th of January. I'll leave a link in the tickets down below. The rider lineup goes as follows. We've got Tony Bow, Gabriel Marcelli, Jaime Busto, Jack Peace, and both Harry and George Hemingway. So it'll be interesting to see George Hemingway come into this as a first time rider for the X Trial. It's been Harry Hemingway's first full season under this, and he's been riding pretty well to say how young he is. But Harry and George are brilliant riders. They are like the future of high level riding in British motorsport, along with Jack Peace. Like, they are the top riders for Trials right now, and they're doing brilliantly. And then obviously you've got the top 3 riders in the world that's going to be filling in those other spaces, so it's going to be a great event to watch. I'm sure the event, I think it's ML Events that's going to be sorting it out, so they'll make sure to put on a brilliant trial. It'll be the same people that's done DL12 pretty much, and we know how good that is. So just a few ticket prices. You've got full access adult ticket will be £59.95, and the under 14s is £49.95. Tickets are selling quite fast, so I will get a hold of them. Most of the front rows are sold out, so you need to, if you want to go, you need to book your tickets. I won't be waiting around. We'll talk about Trial GP Anglesey in the next episode, just to see if there's any more updates that comes in for that. But what we're going to do is now going to move on to the Trial GB series. So the ACU Trial GB series made an announcement not too long ago now with the event dates 2026 for both the Trial Championship and the Youth Trial Championship. So we've got April 25th and 26th. The trial is in Devon at On Point Moto or Absolute Trials Training. So that should be interesting to see. They put a little video up now. They're very excited to run this. The event on May 30th and 31st is yet to be decided. So they've not got a venue for that yet, or they're still sorting out some logistics. So they've not announced that yet. And then the other 2 are done by CL Events. They're the people that are, I believe, helped run DL12, and they'll be doing X Leads, not ML Events, CL Events, apologies. So July 4th and 5th, we've got CL Events at Addingham Moorside in Yorkshire. And then we've got September 12th and 13th CL Events at Geddington, where the Trial GP was held. So that's a brilliant venue, and that'll be a really fun watch. Moving on to the youth one, they've got an event April 4th and 5th. This one is at Bob McGregor's Trial Park in Scotland, so they've got a bit of a drive for that. June 6th and 7th, you've got the West of England in Devon. Then you've got August 22nd and 23rd. You've got, I don't know how to say that, Gainsborough. I'm not sure. Correct me in the comments. I'm not sure how you say that. I don't think I've been there. That's in North Yorkshire. And the final one, October 17th and 18th, is in the Isle of Man, Peveril MCC. So they're the dates announced. Anything else that comes up from them, I'll make sure to mention in the next episode. I believe I'll be doing the event coverage again, hopefully. I've got a few improvements this year. We're going to now have more time to plan for it, because it was a bit of a last minute thing last year's. So it should be good. The whole new format that's going on with the Trial GB series is brilliant. Sam Connor and the team and all that lot. The things they're doing for this championship is really taking it back up, and I think it's what Trials needs. So looking forward to hearing more about that. So as most of you have seen, most of the Trials brands have brought out their 2026 designs now. So what I'm going to do is rank them in a tier list, as you can see here. So I've got a list of the bikes, gas not included because they've not bothered to make one for 2026. So they can go in their own little list at the bottom here as did not bother. But we've got D. If you get put in D, that's more of take it back to the factory, try again. Don't know why it got off the factory floor. C is, come on now, you can do better than that. B is, that's alright, it's a decent looking bike. A is, that's a nice bike, she's tidy. S is one of the best looking trials bikes there's ever been released. Right, kicking this off is going to be the electric motion. Now, it's not a great start because I don't think they've really changed this bike much. This is purely based on looks, by the way, not performance or change to the bike itself, just on looks. If you put this bike in a list of electric motions from the last few years, I genuinely don't think, with confidence, I could say that is the 2026 bike. There's not much change. It looks tidy and clean, and they're trying to go with this futuristic look because it's all electric and that, but give it a bit of flair, make it stand out, change it a bit. So for that, I'm putting it in C. It's just, they've not really bothered. They can do a lot better. Next we've got the red version of the 4RT. Now this is a lovely looking bike, like it is tidy. Me personally, this is one of the best looking bikes for 2026. I've seen both of this one, like the turquoisey one at Geddington, lovely, like they are fit bikes, and for that the Montesa, the red one is going to go in B, and you'll see why when I get to the other one. Next up we've got the brand new TRS. Now, TRS to me should be yellow, and this new bike, having tested and reviewed it, has a lot more yellow in it, so it gets bumped up a little bit for that. I do it like that. To me there's not enough yellow, but it is a tidy looking bike, so it's nowhere near the electric motion in disappointment, but I think the TRS, it's not quite Montesa, but it's in the B level of it. It's a tidy bike, it's a good looking bike. Next up the Vertigo C. I'm even tempted to put it in D, to be honest, I don't know. The problem is, you go on Vertigo's website and it's green, everywhere's green. The last few years, I've not really seen much green on these bikes at all. Like, own your branded colour. The earlier Vertigos were nice, like with the lightning bolts and the like neon green. Like, this is a nice bike, but it doesn't give off Vertigo vibes. It's like it's trying to be something else. Like, if the branding was red, then yes, this would be a lot better. I'm not a massive fan of the primer red. And again, similar with the electric motion, I don't think I could pick this bike out of a list of the ones in the last few years. So, for that, I'm going to put it below the electric motion purely because of the colours. Bring back the green. Like, it is your brand. Like, there's no other bike that does the green. Own it. So, next. This might be a bit of a controversial one, but it's the turquoisey looking Montesa. That's an A. I've not heard many people agree with me on this, but that bike is a lovely looking bike, and I just love that colour scheme, especially with the Montesa riding kit as well. It looks tidy, and that's the reason I've put the red one in B. It's a brilliant looking bike, that red one is. I might even, you know what, no, I'm moving the red one up to A as well, but the turquoise one is above it. Like, it's a bit different, and it just looks amazing. So, argue with me all you like, disagree with me all you like in the comments, that bike belongs in A. So, next up we've got the Sherco. Now, I've got a Sherco myself, I'm not being biased, but I think this bike looks tidy. So it's similar to like how the stickers are arranged and stuff like that to the Raga replica in 2025, which is probably why they did that bike, to develop this next one. The stickers look great, they've got their blue and yellow in there, the design's a bit different, they've actually made some changes. not just with the looks but with the other side of things as well, but we're not getting into that. This is just looks. So for me, this is an A looking bike, and I think I'm going to have to put it between the turquoise and red Montesa. Following on from Sherco is the Scorpio, which are built by the same people. This is going to go in B. Now, I'm not a big fan of orange, and I think the 2025 model is nicer, but I do like the darker colour scheme at the rear end. I do think there should be a bit more, but they're owning the colour, unlike Vertigo. They are an orange brand. They have made sure that bike is orange. It is an orange bike, and I respect them for that. So, lower end B is where I think that bike should sit. Finally is the Beta. Now, in person, the frame does look a lot different. In the photo, it looks very similar to the previous Beta. And I do like the graphics on the plastics, like the mudguard and stuff like that. So I'm going to put this in B. I'm going to put it just below the TRS. I do think it needs a little more flair. The framework, because there's a lot of it, makes the bike look a bit bare. Like when they do the race model with the blue on of the Beta, I enjoy that. It's a nice looking bike. It doesn't look as bare. It gives it a bit of pop, which I think is what this bike needs to level it up. So that's my tier list. None made it in D, so well done. Gas is in its own level of didn't bother. None made it in S though. There's very few Trials bikes that will go in S. Now if you've got a selection of bikes you want me to put in a tier list and rate, they don't have to be from the same year, comment them down below or give me a list, or give me a year that you want me to look into to do a tier list for the Trials bikes, and I'll make sure to do it. But that is the 2026 Trials bike tier list based on looks. Let me know if you agree down below, or let me know how you rank them. And yeah, that is my 2026 Trials bike tier list. So this is the behind the bars course. We've got our first rider, Ryan Lawson's going to give it a go and set a standard time for this. It's not too long, it's not too difficult, it's made for everyone to really have a go at, but you'll be able to see the time difference in the higher end riders compared to the lower end riders and stuff like that. So it's tricky. If you are riding in conditions like today, there will be a G on it because it's greasy, or if it's chucking it down rain, I'll put a wet. Meaning you can have another go if you want later on, but if you want to have a go, it's at Bracken Rocks. We run practice days throughout the year, so by all means come and have a go, or if we have a trial here, just have a go at the end or before you start. You get 5 free goes, then you do your actual lap, and if you dab, that just adds a second onto your time per dab. So you don't want to be doing that because it's not a long course, so it's going to be quite quick. But yeah, let's see how Ryan gets on. Ryan's just on his last practice run now. He's a bit nervous because he's cleaned it every other lap whilst practicing, but he just thinks he might cock up when it comes to actually filming it, so we'll see how he does. So here we've got Ryan Lawson on his gas 300cc. He's an expert rider and he's going to be the first one to tackle this behind the bars course, so let's see how he gets on. So he's off, takes the first bit quite steady, picks his line, goes over there beautifully. Ryan is not hanging about, he's setting a quick time here. Takes the corner at the top, comes down quick. You want to make sure you don't lose your front end here. Drops it in quick. He cuts the corner instead of going wide, and he's across the line. What time will he get? 16:25. That is an impressive time. Let's get Ryan's score onto the leaderboard. There we go, Ryan Lawson is the first one onto the leaderboard there with a G for greasy next to his time. It's going to take some impressive riding to beat his score. So another one of the segments that's going to be in these series are some trials vlogs or some event coverage. It won't be the full event, it'll just be a smaller snippet, and there'll be an alternate video you can go to visit to watch that full one. But I'll be doing some trials vlogs and stuff like that. I have got one of those Insta360 with the new magnetic mini ones ordered, because I think they'll be brilliant to ride around for trials with. But this week's segment is, we're going to go back in time to an event my club ran in the summer, called Full Throttle. It's basically kickstart revamped. It's getting a bit better. We're ironing out some kinks, things are being improved, getting more people on board. But the people who did it this year really enjoyed it. We've got some higher level people like Harry Turner in that ride, and some British Championship level riders. So here's just a montage of how it went. Yeah, so hope you enjoy. Quick line that is.
You're on, go, go, go!
So yeah, that was the 2025 Full Throttle event coverage. It sure was a fun day out, everyone loved it. There was some big crashes, there was some brilliant riding, but we're hoping to improve it every year, and hopefully it becomes something that can be put in the calendar year in, year out, that people can enjoy and come and watch as well, because everyone knows what Kickstart is in the trials world, and I think the modern day needs Kickstart back. It was just such an amazing event. You've just got to adapt it to the modern day trials riding. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that. So this next segment, I have basically come up with it. Let me just get a quick website up for you. Let's just go on Cameo Moto because they're my nearest trials dealer. So, saw a few arguments on Facebook. And Marty Hill made a good point about someone was saying trials is too expensive. And I wanted to make a segment about that to show my opinion on it. My opinion for trials, it is not too expensive. It is the cheapest form of motorcycle sport you can compete in, and it's only expensive if you make it expensive. Problem is, people like nice things and they want to go straight in and get a flashy bike and stuff like that. But if you've never rode trials before, or if you've not rode in a while, you don't need to be getting a brand new bike, and there are options out there to make it a lot less expensive. So, just putting it bluntly, is trials expensive? No. And here's why. What I'm going to do is here, I'm just going to go on Facebook, go to my nearest trials dealer, go to Cameo Moto. So, just to prove it's only expensive if you make it expensive, we're going to start with bikes. So, 2026 Vertigo here, one of the more expensive trials bikes, $8,750. It is a brand new bike. It's going to be more expensive. But if you keep scrolling, you'll see older bikes are cheaper. And if you're a newer rider that's not really been involved before, or if you've been off for a while, you don't need a brand new bike. You can get a bike that's 5 to 10 years older that still runs great. If it's been looked after and you look after it when you're riding as well, it will do what you need it to do, because buying a brand new 2026 bike, that bike is made for a rider to be doing high level stuff. You won't be ready for that. So, we look here, 2024 Sherco, that bike is already half the price of what the Vertigo is pretty much, $4,695. So to some people, that would be a cheap option. That's the 2024, so that's only a couple of years old, well, a year old. Same with the 2024 Beta, $4,695. Keep scrolling, a Gas 2022, it's been sold now, but that's down to $3,200. So you're looking at nearly a quarter of the price of a brand new Vertigo. Let's just keep going. What else we've got? I mean, there's another option here if you want to do classic trials, $4,495. If you're not a brilliant rider, but you're just looking to ride some old classic bikes or an easier level event, that's a bike for you that's a lot cheaper. Here we go, another one here. A 2018 Beta. 250 two-stroke. 250 for a brand new trials rider is enough. If you've rode bikes before and you go into trials thinking, yeah, I need a 300, my road bike's 5, 6, 700 cc, and you get 300, I will witness you wrap yourself round a tree and lose control of the bike. All you need is a 125 or a 250. And you look at this here, Beta, road registered, it's been looked after, Cameo Motor, or a trusted dealer, £2,500. That is it. Like, that is not an expensive bike, and it would have been looked after, it will do the job for you. Like, perfectly fine. I mean, even here, Vertigo, the green ones, which is how Vertigo should look, a Vertigo from 2019, one previous clubman owner, £2,695, and it's a tidy looking bike within the last 10 years. You can't complain really. Like, those who say it's too expensive are basically looking to try and get into the sport and buy a brand new bike and brand new everything. If you buy a cheaper one of these bikes, you can then go and get some brand new gear or a brand new helmet. But on the other hand, if you are on a budget, you can get a cheaper bike, but also you don't need to get brand new Trials clothing. Some shops like Cameo Moto will have, I don't know if they'll have some on their shop, they'll have some older Trials clothing that hasn't sold and will be significantly cheaper. But like a pair of Comets trousers here, 95, isn't that bad really. Clothing and protection. Let's go on here, Richard. Clothing deals. £30 for a t-shirt, £70 for some trousers. That's not expensive. So I bet some of you spend £70 on some trainers that don't look that nice. Boots, you can always get them second hand on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Like, but personally, to me, I'd save the money on the bike and the gear, or even if save money on spending on the bike and get brand new gear. Like helmet and boots, personally, I would buy brand new. I would get, but they don't have to be a brand new 2026 edition. They can be a few years older. Like some stores will have older stock that are still available to buy. So do that. Get a cheaper bike and then spend a bit more money on the gear, but like I've just proven here, you don't need to. I mean, this is deals. We go back and go to shirts. £42, £42, 37. Granted, that is the junior. 50. Like you're looking at like £30 to £50 for a t-shirt. Not bad at all. The helmets and stuff is where it gets a bit more expensive. But like I said, Marketplace, if you really are that desperate and want to get into it. I mean, I'm selling 2 helmets myself. Like, they're in great condition, but I've not used them much, and they're not much wear and tear. So that's that segment. Now, after you've got your bike, you've got your riding gear and stuff like that, it comes to riding. So, as we spoke about earlier, licence fee. If you're a brand new rider to the sport, you're going to be paying £35 for a licence, which is not that expensive. I bet some of you spend £35 on a Chinese takeaway on the weekend. So I'm sure you can validate buying a licence for £35. So you've got your licence out of the way, you're going to a trial. 20 quid for a trial. You're a new rider, you might ride twice a month or so-and-so. 40 quid in a month to ride, spending like a tenner on petrol. Because a lot of venues is not a long way around. You fill a 5 litre drum up for your bike, that's going to last you for 2 or 3 trials. So you've got practice days as well. We run them for like 10 quid. Like, it's not expensive at all. And if you're a newer rider to the sport, then you're not going to be wanting to buy a brand new tyre pretty much every like 6 events or 7 events. Like, if you're a clubman rider or a new rider to the sport, your tyre is going to last significantly longer. The bike you buy from the dealership, sometimes will have a brand new tyre on it and will be reasonable to ride with. So you've got your bike sorted, you're at an event, you just got to ride then. Even if you rode every month, you're spending, what, 80 quid. You're spending 80 quid to pay to ride, and then you're going to be spending, at a push, 20 quid to fill your bike up. Like £100 a month. It's not that bad. If you love it and you want to really do it, that's not that bad. So, I'm going to answer the question again. Is Trials expensive? No. It's expensive when you get to the professional side of things, but £80 to 85% of people that compete in trials are just your average club level rider or national level rider, and that other small percentage are the ones that's at the higher level, and they've got a lot of the funding to help ride at that level. Granted, some people don't, and they are looking for more sponsorships. It's always nice to help them out as well, but they do have a bit of backing to try and get to that top level. But you won't be doing that. 80 to 85% of you will not be doing that. So the level you are riding at is not that expensive. So yeah, short little segment. Is Trials expensive? No. So that is it for the first episode of Behind the Bars. I hope you've all enjoyed. In future episodes there will be more interesting side of things and stuff like that, but if there's anything you want to see included, then just comment down below if there's certain topics you want me to talk about, or you want me to try and get certain things involved in the video. Then by all means just let me know. I'll try my best to do it. I just thought this might be a good thing for Trials, this kind of style of video. It includes multiple things in one episode that I can get out bi-weekly for you all. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like, share with your friends, comment down below on anything we've spoke about in this episode. It will really help the channel out. Trying to grow some more, all for the love of the sport. There's a small number of us that are doing social media content just to help the sport grow. There's me, Trials Talk, Trials Tube, and we're all doing different things. Like Trials Talk recently been going to a lot of different foreign events. You've got Trials Tube with the bike reviews. Like if you want to get a good bike review, you've got all those videos to know what those bikes are like, and they go a good few years back. So like the topic we've talked about, is Trials expensive? If you're wanting an idea on what a bike's like, you can look at one of Danny's reviews from a few years ago and get an idea on it. But Danny also does podcasts and gets some good people on there, like big names in the sport. And then you got me, I do a lot of different event coverage and anything and everything Trials really. So we're all here to do it for the love of the sport. So any positive feedback would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Next time on Behind the Bars, we've got more crashes. Edwin and Ben James have a go at the Behind the Bars course. We can do some product reviews. We do some more Trials tier lists, as well as many more things right here on Behind the Bars.